Hi, from Dr. Sam in the City. Today I wanted to talk about acne because it's been all over the press in the last couple of days. BBC Newsbeat did a piece with YouTuber Katie Snooks on the impact acne has on young people's lives and indeed older people's lives. And subsequently there have been numerous pieces in the BBC News talking about why acne is now such a problem. And I think this is interesting for a number of reasons. Firstly, I'm grateful for any excuse to talk more about the commonest inflammatory skin condition of the Western world and the havoc it wreaks on people's lives. Dr. Tamara Griffiths, who's a very respected colleague, has been commenting and is actually in the film and explaining what the problem is. And the reality is that in terms of acne, the number of referrals to specialist hospital centres for acne has doubled in recent years. So there's a massive increase in demand for dermatology services. But I think there is a real struggle for the person with acne to necessarily get that referral put through. The NHS is so overwhelmed that access to secondary care is a real problem, and oftentimes because acne is so common, it's not taken as seriously as it should be. And I think it's very touching to see that reported in a film on the BBC. So I think that's brilliant. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the impact it has on lives. But I think practically it's important for people to understand how to go about getting the right level of treatment for their problems. And I think that the emphasis on taking scarring seriously is incredibly valuable. We do have treatments that will stop acne, oftentimes from coming back. They are stronger than the more conventional treatments prescribed by the GP, and I'm talking about Roaccutane in that sense, and it should be prescribed by a specialist. But it can make all the difference in the world when it's appropriately prescribed. So I think there's a lot of misinformation on the internet. People can often arrive at the wrong conclusions about what the right treatment is for them. So find a doctor with expertise in treating acne that you get on with, that you feel that you're on board, that you both have the same objectives, and discuss your options, discuss the pros and cons available to work out what the best treatment strategy is for you. And I genuinely believe there's an acne treatment plan that's right for everyone. Other things to say, I think that it is important to get that information from the right expert. I think that there are a lot of settings whereby you could easily end up spending a lot of money for the wrong kind of treatment. And again, I think raising awareness about this is also really important. My perspective on that is that acne is a chronic skin problem. It's something that unfortunately hangs around for years, sometimes decades. There are literally women that I look after who have suffered it in every decade of their life, right up to their 50s, having had it since their teens. So potentially 40 years of suffering. And when you think about that, it makes it clear to me anyway that that requires an ongoing strategy that you have control over yourself on a daily basis. So this isn't something that can be fixed by a finite course of treatment in a doctor's office or in a medi-spa type environment. So be aware of that whenever you're thinking about going and having treatments like peels and light-based therapies, because they're often only going to help manage the problem for the duration of the period you have the treatment. You will still probably need some sort of ongoing management program to provide maintenance therapy. So I think those are the main take-home points that I gleaned from watching, as I say, that very touching film. It's only 20 minutes, so it's worth a watch. Was, yes, we understand more and more how acne touches people's lives. Yes, we know it can be a struggle to get the right quality of care, but stand up for yourself, be strong. If it's really causing trouble in your life, persist. persist, talk to your doctor, and get that referral to secondary care or the right person to see privately, depending on your circumstances. And finally, know what you're getting into when you start treatment and understand what the pathway is going to be. Is this a short-term fix or is this a long-term strategy? Because you need to think about both aspects when it comes to getting good care for your skin. Please leave your thoughts down below, especially if you've watched the film. I'd be delighted to hear what you think, and just to keep this conversation going, because it's such an interesting one. I hope that was helpful. Bye for now.